Hello neighbors, welcome to your April 2024 reading. For those riding through the hood for the first time, hi, I'm the neighborhood astrologer and I help women increase productivity and decrease life distractions using the timing and favor given to us through astrological and spiritual energy. We get things done so we can manifest our bestest life. So April is a breakthrough month, as we'll all be experiencing a total solar eclipse at 19 degrees of Aries on April the 8th, starting at 2:19 Eastern Standard Time. This will mark a turning point in our life, with the universe pushing us to make changes towards new beginnings, new opportunities, and will put you in scenarios that provides you no choice but to make intentional actions towards your future while saying farewell to your past ways, your past habits, your past situations. You're letting it all go. Of course, the solar eclipse in Aries will manifest differently for everyone because it's happening in different areas of the birth chart. This particular solar eclipse will be conjunct Chiron, so the energy will trigger a trait in you, a trait that you may fear or have felt wounded by, which affects your confidence and sense of self. The solar eclipse will encourage you to use your fear, your deepest hurt, as a power to make the changes you need. While the energy may come at a slight discomfort or a very real discomfort, the more you use your pain for the change, you will start the journey of learning how to use a weakness to force change, but also to regain your confidence, regain your initiative and drive. Not only is the solar eclipse conjunct Chiron, it's also making a semi-sextile to Jupiter in Taurus, which will be conjunct Uranus in Taurus. So naturally, the energy of the eclipse brings events that demands your attention, demands your awareness, and it asks you to make quick actions to the areas that is highlighted. With the solar eclipse being semi-sextile Jupiter conjunct Uranus, the events, the actions needed comes in really quick and in a big way. The energy feels fast, it feels urgent, but awkward. The awkwardness that is felt is because of the semi-sextile. You are dealing with Aries and Taurus energy, which has different elements, fire and earth, different modalities, cardinal and fixed, and different qualities, extrovert and introvert, or other known as masculine and feminine. They just don't relate, but the both signs have to come together to produce something positive, and that is where the discomfort comes in. An example of this is two people have to come together to create a fire product. One person is doing it to boost their confidence and their number one status, while the other person is doing it to boost their self-worth and their material wealth. One person has fire ideas and the other person has fire worth ethics. One person is a quick thinker and super boisterous, and the other person takes time with coming to ideas and is more reserved. You see, these two that are working together, they're very different, but once they learn to accept their differences, they can begin to pool their skills and resources together to complete this fire product. This is how the energy will manifest with the solar eclipse conjunct Chiron, semi-sextile Jupiter conjunct Uranus. Now that I've provided a breakdown on what to expect from the solar eclipse, let's see how it will manifest for each sign. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Likes and subscriptions are free, y'all, and sharing is caring. With that said, let's get into the readings. Aries, on April the 8th, the solar eclipse will be happening in your sign in the first house. So this is going to trigger events surrounding your identity, your physicality and aesthetic, how you present to the world, how the world treats you based on how you present and your ego. The solar eclipse will bring about events and awareness that trigger you to take action in these areas. The energy can even trigger an insecurity you have surrounding your identity and appearance. This energy puts you in a position to now address it and start the journey towards either learning how to work through the perceived deficiency or learning how to heal or use the perceived deficiency to your advantage, which in turn caters to your confidence and self-worth. The events not only triggers your identity, physicality, and how you relate to the external world, but it also triggers how you make money, how you gain your self-worth. And the two areas will have to work hand in hand during this time to create the change the universe is pushing you towards. The events are very action-oriented, but can also stir the emotions, which may feel uncomfortable. But without the discomfort, you may miss the initiative needed to employ the changes in a forward motion. While this energy focuses on your external body and your capacity to nurture your self-worth, you're going to notice the underlying theme is how you relate to others and the influence others have on your desire to make changes, to make these changes. And that's because the solar eclipse will be happening in the 19th degree, which is Libra influenced. So, relationship, the desire to connect, the desire for refinement will be a wave of energy that will be mixed with the drive and initiative towards change. Taurus. For Taurus, there are fears you have that permits you from taking the actions and initiative that you need to make the necessary changes in your life. You avoid certain actions because of your fears, and you have initially made yourself to be invisible in certain areas of your life. During the solar eclipse in Aries, events will happen that make you so uncomfortable that you're forced to face your fears and step out into the open. You'll be given the mental strength to tackle these repressed fears, hidden enemies, whether real or perceived, and make changes in your life to stand up for yourself, to take spaces in places you deserve to be in. You will no longer be repressed or restrained by these fears any longer. You'll be visible. The confidence and sudden changes that will arise will create major changes on your identity, how you see the world, and how the world sees you. Your aesthetic will also change over the next months to the 2 years to align with the inner strength you'll be blessed with when being pushed towards the new beginnings. Things that were hidden, things that have wounded you deeply will be the fuel and catalyst for you to step into self and own space. Living a life where you're comfortable being invisible in certain realms will no longer be safe for you. And once you transition from invisible to visible, you'll see how the newness of your awareness will bring you exactly what you desired, what you fantasized about, but were too fearful to get. Gemini. On April the 8th, the solar eclipse will be happening in your 11th house. There may have been events and situations that happened within your network, within your friend group or association, and or along your journey to accomplish certain goals that have caused you distress and discomfort. And because of that, you've done things and are dealing with people differently based on that situation. The change in your behavior may not be benefiting you. And the energy that's coming in will now force you to make changes for the better. To do things differently, but not detrimentally. Not in a way that will stifle your progress and or taint your relationships, both current and future. Your negative experience will never go away, but can be used for you to gain tools that thrust you forward positively and can be used to help others, and the help you give to others helps you regain a sense of confidence in humanity, in your ability. The energy will require you to tap into your fears, to work alongside of your fears, and use it as your resume, as your experience. This is a major reset that brings fresh energy and strengthened mentality in the areas of your wishes, your goals, social connections, and environments. The resources and wisdom you bring to the table is interwoven within your wounds and fears. So diving into this realm will be needed for you to reap the abundance the universe has in store for you during this time. Cancer. So Cancer, for you, the total solar eclipse in Aries will bring major initiative and beginnings in the areas of work, career, your public persona as it relates to your relationships, your connection to the parent or caregiver that instilled discipline in you, and your level of authority and or influence. This will test your emotions. Do you feel happy in this area? Do you feel numb, stagnant, underwhelmed, or straight up stressed in this area? The themes highlighted during the eclipse will require action, but you're going to notice that the events will also be pointing the finger at your network, at the validity of your goals and plans, at your accomplishments, particularly what you have accomplished or failed to accomplish due to procrastination. There are blockages that you may have accepted as permanent, and the energy will come during this time, and it's going to bring awareness that they're not permanent, and it's your wounds, your prior experience that have allowed you to believe so. Now you're going to tap into the past to forge towards the future with knowledge that there are no blocks that cannot be moved. It may feel hard, uncomfortable, but just know with a different mind frame and your effort, you're going to arrive at the success you innately know you deserve. There will be opportunities to revise your reputation and social status, to take on a new direction with the career more fitting, to change the landscape of your public image. You will also see themes that there are things you must take the initiative for to tackle alone. But at the same time, part of that initiative is knowing when to tap into your network to get the help and resources needed towards your future endeavors. Your network may even need to change to align with the new direction you're heading in. Either way, your initiative towards the relations you create and tap into will be your guiding grace with a total solar eclipse energy. Leo, the total solar eclipse is bringing major changes and new beginnings in the area of higher education, international environments, legal judgment, your perspective, and how it aligns with your moral and ethical principles. Those you look towards for mentorship and people, especially those that are different and foreign to you, but still have the capacity to imprint invaluable knowledge onto you. These are the energy and the areas that the solar eclipse will affect. The energy is telling you that you will no longer be able to stay in stale and old energy and thrive. You'll be pushed forward to newness. There could be wounds you have that permitted you from accepting people and ideas outside of your norm, and instead of providing a type of protection that you hoped for, in turn it made you stagnant. It made you unable to explore different terrains that could be helpful to you. Now it's asking you to take a risk, open your mind, and ride the wave of a perspective transformation. This new wave will also need the help of your reputation, as this will also take on change to align with your new perspective. It is the new perspective, the curiosity, and the need for more knowledge that will bring opportunities to you. It's not going to be easy, because if it was, you would have done it a long time ago. But while it may not be easy, it will definitely be worth the while and bring big changes to your internal and external environments. This is bringing you the opportunity to not only reap major abundance, but to learn as well. Change your inner being so that you can be in a consistent state of optimism, wisdom, and positivity. You have the ability and the energy to change your inner and outer environment by simply changing your perspective and embarking on tasks, journeys, and adventures that fuels your exploration and feeds your inner world. Uncomfortable at first, but the major transformation coming in for you is long awaited, and you're worthy of the goodness heading in your direction. Virgo. Emotional truth that will create shifts in your head, in your mind, will be the driving force to change around the total solar eclipse in Aries. Virgo, while there are external events that will trigger the energy of the total solar eclipse, this time will be marked by great introspection. Your relationship to money and debt, especially how it relates to others, can be magnified around this time, and that magnification gets you out of your seat on your quest to make the necessary changes. Another area that will be put under the magnifying glass will be psychological fears that have been repressed. You may feel as if you're doing a good job repressing it, but the energy of what you fear manifests in your action towards the bonds you have and the bonds you have lost. It manifests in your perspective to relationships, to finances, to the truth. The great thing about the solar eclipse happening for you in the 8th house is that it's giving you the opportunities to face your fears and heal. Now, what created the fear is a trauma, and because of that, you will never be your whole old self again, as that trauma left a scar. But while there's a permanent mark that reminds you of where you've been, it doesn't really hurt as much anymore. And I'm not saying that the hurt isn't there, it just isn't as intense. And because it isn't as intense, you can use that energy and transmute it to wisdom that can benefit you in many ways. It can benefit you and be used to heal others. The solar eclipse brings an emotional intensity, but life-changing opportunities to improve bonds, money management, and perspectives will be present. Libra. With the arrival of the total solar eclipse in Aries happening in your 7th house, your relationship sector is going to be lit up to the 10th degree. This is business and love relationships. And while the emotional intensity will be focused on relationships, the theme will have finances intertwined up and through it. This is on par with both types of relationships. No longer are you okay with foregoing your need for financial stability simply to keep peace and cordiality. No more holding on to connections simply for the sake of the appearance of togetherness. Relationships lacking material, financial substance will come under review. There's a sudden energy that will consume you into action to take charge of the contributions you have contributed to the state of your unions. This will highlight areas in which you will have to take accountability, recognizing that your inputs have shaped the structure of what you have now. And once you acknowledge it and take accountability, you will arrive at the awareness that you have all the tools you need to remold and create the type of relationships that benefit you internally and externally. You're deserving of not only the internal fulfillment you garner from being amongst others, but also and equally the material trappings that provide the safety and security that put your well-being at ease. For a while, you may have wanted change in your relationship sector and it didn't come. you're waiting for change to come from the actions of others. But the total solar eclipse will bring about events that lets you know that change will come through your efforts, through your initiation, through your origination. The change to choose a new relationship, to choose a new direction within an old relationship, or to choose self will be the theme that the solar eclipse in Aries brings to you. Scorpio, the total solar eclipse in Aries will be lighting up your 6th house. For some time, you may have had recurring issues within the work domain or your health routine, or even how you carry out your everyday tasks to keep things running smoothly or not so smoothly in your daily life. At this time, you may recognize the root cause as to why things rarely go as you would hope. And maybe your focus was misdirected, putting your energy into changing the external environments when you know quite well that it's the internal environment that needs a change. The solar eclipse will arrive and usher in staggering events that are meant to shake you up into actions, propelling you to make substantial changes to your inner environment so you may find peace in your external environment. Major life changes to heal that little voice inside can be used to redirect the common themes that have you running from situation to situation. You won't be allowed to run anymore, but instead you will have to address it. Address what's going on inside so you're able to find richness outside. Health can be a theme that can come to the forefront that will need significant changes. A lot of Scorpios will be changing their diets to reflect permanent lifestyle changes. Attitudes surrounding work contributions can be highlighted to change how you relate to work and those you work with. Another area would be your routines. Routines will have to be restructured so you can feel good about your productivity when you lay your head down at the end of your day. The changes coming in changes how you operate on the day-to-day, and this is major. It's going to feel uncomfortable because swiftness is needed to align with the changes, which is going against Scorpio's fixed nature. But the faster you hop on board, the faster your life changes for the better. Your relationship to others, both romantic and business, will be called into question as you make the changes within. Legal matters that directly contributes to your health or routine can also be an underlying theme with the eclipse. Don't be surprised if you experience new relationships trying to squeeze into your life that forces change in your everyday routines and habits. Sagittarius, love, children, and creative pursuits will be at the forefront of the total solar eclipse happening on April the 8th in Aries. The way in which you handle love, the way you pursue finding your purpose through your passion, the flair in which you express yourself, the way in how you give your service to those you love, including self and children, will enter a chamber of transformation that thrusts you into new beginnings and presents you the opportunities for a massive makeover. The change for the better will be by your actions. There was a tendency to hope for change without putting in effort. Whether this was done intentionally or unintentionally won't matter at this time. The total solar eclipse will bring about events that brings attention to your efforts to bring change. Settling in love will no longer feel comfortable. Forgoing your passion to build someone else's passion will be a no-go. Through the energy pushing you to change your passion sector, relationships you have will obviously be changing during the transformation. The 5th house is the focal point, but what happens in the 5th house area will also change the 6th house area. So you will notice changes to your acts of service, your habits, your health, your everyday routine. Your everyday life will be enriched by both internal and external comforts simply by owning your authentic self. You can feel a strong urge to go after the relationship you desire. You can see relationships end to make space for newness. This is a powerful time for you because there's a sense of settling that you've been engaging in when it comes to your creativity and love. This is not because you are lazy in this area. It's because you have hurt there based on prior experiences of self-expression or love, and you dealt with it by trying to avoid it. But the avoidance doesn't fuel your happy, and at this time you'll be embarking on a journey to find your happy despite your fears. This marks a change that will add emotional value to your existence. Resistance due to discomfort will be temporary, but once you learn to embrace the energy, your love heart opens wide, signaling you are headed in the positive direction. Capricorn. The total solar eclipse in Aries, happening on April the 8th, will be visiting your 4th house. The solar eclipse here will be bringing major awareness to issues surrounding family, the nurturing parents or caregiver, and the psychological remnants left from your childhood. Exposure to certain events earlier on in life has colored the way you show up. While you may have noticed it in the past, you spent more time trying to conceal this very aspect of you than to nurture it. Well, the wound responsible for the psychological trauma will be magnified with the total solar eclipse, giving you space to navigate the root cause and terrain of your feelings and consequent behaviors. In the past, you may have tried to navigate it before, but you draw it back because you may have acknowledged that people that you really, really love are responsible for certain hurts. And it's very, very hard to address something with someone that you love that you know may hurt them. Children love hard and unconditionally, but this is a time in your adult self that you will have to face it. And the good part about this time is that you will have the strength to face it for yourself. There will be wisdom and tools gained through the actions the solar eclipse forces you to take. With Aries in the 4th, there's a lot of independence that is exerted earlier on. And when others see that, they naturally believe that you got it. You can take on more than you're supposed to. Essentially, what I'm saying is you did not receive the type of parenting that would have benefited you through to adulthood. Now you're getting energy that will force you to see that and start the process of reparenting yourself, forgiving yourself, and the obliviousness of the caregivers around you. It's time for you to nurture your needs as a whole human in the same way that the adults in your earlier life nurtured their needs before considering you. With this energy, a lot of help will be gained when you tap into your passion to find your authentic expression of self. Tapping into your inner child, tapping into self-love, and the love that you have for others will be needed to make the journey less bitter and more forgiving in attempts to release blockages. You see, the thing about building a wall is that you don't just prevent the person from access to you, but you also block out their entire side of the world. And when you do that, you lose understanding and perspective. And what you lose may be the very thing you need to help heal the wounds that have brought a blight in your life. Aquarius. Aquarius, with a total solar eclipse in Aries entering your 3rd house on April the 8th, it will bring events that pushes you into action. You can find that something happens that pushes you to get a new car or reskill to seize a new opportunity. Basically, the energy ushers in intensity that makes you move in the areas of your technology, transportation source, relationships, and how you are communicating within your relationships, especially relationships with your neighbors within your neighborhood or locale, siblings, peer mates. All of the aspects highlighted by the total solar eclipse will also go hand in hand with how you make money. Awareness that your connection and skills is tied to your income earning capacity will be a theme that will be addressed, and addressing this theme will contribute to your self-value. Because the energy is concentrated on your communication and thinking sector, this is where the actions will need to take place. The effort that is needed may come outside of your comfort zone. There could be a lack of self-confidence surrounding adopting new skills and adapting to new environments or in your social interactions. But the solar eclipse will bring you the mental agility and courage to tackle certain matters that help you develop in the areas you feel you're deficient in. This is like you're being chased by a dog and you come across a river, but you can't swim. You have a choice. You can stop and wait for this dog that looks like he hasn't had a real meal in a week. Or you can jump in the river and start stroking and kicking. Before and while you're swimming in this river, you're scared out of your mind and the energy is just too intense. But once you get to the other side of the riverbank, you realize you just developed a new skill that saved your life, that enriched your life. This is what the total solar eclipse will bless you with. New beginnings that have the opportunity to change your life, enrich your life. Pisces. Pisces, the total solar eclipse is happening in your second house of self-worth, income, and your material valuables. While the solar eclipse will be bringing new energy, new beginnings, and opportunities in the sector, it's also conjunct Chiron, and the energy will highlight any insecurities of yours pertaining to money and your values. For instance, you may be a super generous and charitable person, which is great, and for sure a way to bring in like energy back to you, but it may be due to you not believing that you're deserving of nice things, of material wealth. You can be generous and want for self as well. The eclipse will highlight any hiccups that you have surrounding your internal and external value, and it will push you along the pathway of strengthening your self-worth and not feeling any guilt around wanting for self. This is not a solo journey, because how you manifest your uncertainties trickles into the relationships that you have and that you had. There's going to be much communication surrounding your boundaries, asserting yourself, and not bypassing your wants and needs to assuage another person's wants and needs. The more you feel the energy that you're deserving of feeling good internally and feeling rewarded externally with tangible material wealth, then more can and will flow to you. More for you and more for those that you desire to be generous to. Now, on the flip side, there are Pisces that use materials to give them a sense of worth, but they're malnourished inside. Being happy with who you are and happy with your materials takes balance. The individuals that I'm referring to are off balance. They put more value in their material world than their internal world. They believe that the material trappings that they surround themselves with makes the world oblivious to their inner turmoil, but it doesn't. People rarely say 100% of what they are thinking, but it doesn't mean they aren't passing judgments influenced by their thoughts. People make actions every day based on their thoughts and judgments, and you'll never know because they won't speak them. They won't tell you the reason as to why they're making certain actions. But there are people that see people like this, and they believe because it's not spoken by them that they're oblivious, that they're none the wiser. And it doesn't work like that. We all have a human experience, and insecurity manifests in pretty generic ways. And as humans, we mask in pretty generic ways. The funny thing is, masking is harder than healing. So why not acknowledge and address the root to the insecurity so you can live a more relaxed life? The solar eclipse will give you the light to do so, to increase the quality of your life through your self-worth, through your values and your valuables. This brings us to the end of your reading. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment down below the changes that you're starting to see come in for you. For those that want to incorporate manifesting in their everyday life, copy your copy of 44 Ways to Manifest. This is the ultimate guide to turning your thoughts into reality, your manifestations into reality. 44 Ways to Manifest is a no-fluff adult picture book that can be read within an hour. It's just compacted with straight-to-the-point guidance and rituals. So add the book to your Amazon cart. The link will be pasted below. And until then, flow with the energy and take every blessing and opportunity the universe has in store for you. Peace and prosperity to you, and we'll chat soon.